Hey guys, welcome to our first special episode. I'm the BatSam. This is DJ Kyber.
Hey.
We're not reviewing anything today. We're just taking a little bit of time to do a tribute to the recently deceased Nintendo president, Satoru Iwata. And after all the work he's put into stuff we've enjoyed so much, it only felt right we could just get together and talk about him for a little bit.
Yeah, so, this is, as I was saying earlier, this is, probably the biggest tragedy to happen to Nintendo since Gunpei Yokoi, who was also a really prominent guy. He may have been more creative than Shigeru Miyamoto. He was the one who invented the D-pad and the Game Boy and, unfortunately, the Virtual Boy, which, as it turns out...
We don't talk about the Virtual Boy.
It turns out the Virtual Boy was incomplete. It was still in beta mode when they actually released it into stores. It was supposed to have color, not just be this ugly red thing. And it was supposed to be much more portable than, like, set it on a stand and then scrunch your head down to it until your eyes bleed.
But it's given hipsters something to collect for generations to come.
Yeah. Hipsters and hardcore Nintendo fans.
Yes. There's a lot of overlap there, I found.
So, the Virtual Boy, the 3DS, and the Wii U are the only Nintendo systems I do not own.
Yeah, well, we'll get back to... Let's track back to Iwata a little bit. The guy's been running the company since 2002. I remember because I read it in one of my very first Nintendo Power magazines.
Ooh.
I got that in 5th grade. And then during the summer when I moved, I remember sitting in my new house and being like, oh my god, there's a new Nintendo president. I hadn't even really thought about the old one.
Who was the old one?
His name was Yamauchi.
Huh. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Let me check that first name because I realize there's a lot of stuff here I can say wrong, and I don't want to get anything wrong in a tribute episode.
Right, so Iwata was only 55 when he died. That's sad.
Yeah, I think it was some form of cancer, I want to say.
It was some sort of, like, bile duct growth.
Yeah, bile duct growth was the official cause. Yeah. Here we go. He succeeded Hiroshi Yamauchi, who's basically the one who made Nintendo into a gaming company.
Yeah, rather than the card.
There was trading cards, or playing cards, and toys, until Yamauchi, eventually, brought it into gaming. And then he handed the reins over to Iwata in 2002, stayed on to advise him for a while. And Iwata is actually the first one to not be a member of the Yamauchi family to head the company.
Huh.
Yeah, it was kind of a family dynasty until he made Iwata his successor.
Oh, jeez. Well, I think Iwata did a great job. I mean, 2002, that was when GameCube came out?
GameCube was released 2001.
Okay. He headed the company for the GameCube era, most
GameCube,
of the GameCube,
Wii, and then into Wii U.
Yeah.
Now, he talked about I was reading about how when he took the position, Nintendo was not doing as well because they were selling GameCube, and it was considered a little underpowered. I love the GameCube. We'll get back to that in a little bit, because I could talk for hours about how much I love that little lunchbox.
Me too.
And then he was the one who, or supposedly Iwata was one of the ones who came up with the Wii because he wanted to make something as inclusive as possible.
Yeah.
So he added the motion controls, and then he branched out the market, because I feel like when most execs talk about how they want broad appeal, it usually means they want to water something down enough that they can sell it to as many people as they can. But with Iwata, he really genuinely seemed like nothing would make him happier than families and friends getting together, and they're just being made happy by something that he helped create.
Right. That's how the original Nintendo was kind of marketed. Over in Japan, the Famicom.
The family computer?
Yes. See?
As opposed in the US, where they had to market it as a robot toy.
Yeah. But it was still kind of, like, advertised as a family thing, because, like, it was the entertainment system.
Uh-huh.
But it just, I guess, Famicom didn't roll off the tongue as well as Nintendo Entertainment System.
We also got the ugly Nintendo Entertainment System. Do you ever know that?
The gray, red, and
yeah,
black
we got the gray and black one. In Japan, they had this really cool like red and silver one.
Ooh.
Have you not seen this?
I feel like I have. Like here's a little Easter egg for anyone who hasn't already discovered this. But if you play Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl and switch language into Japanese, oh yeah, okay, I do remember that. If you switch the language into Japanese and you go into the figure area where you look at all your trophies and stuff, you'll see a bunch of stuff has changed. The Famicom and Super Famicom are there, and the Virtual Boy is also there. Instead of the Super Nintendo and I think the Game Boy Advance or something, which was replaced with the Virtual Boy. Nintendo still has a soft spot for that failure.
The thing is with the Virtual Boy is it's remembered as such an epic flop. It's almost endearing in a way. It's almost like the Howard the Duck or the Plan 9 of video game consoles.
Yeah.
Where it was awful, and everyone agrees it was awful, but people can't help but be endeared by it just a little bit.
There's also the other ones that were less endearing, like the 3DO, the Jaguar. The ones that just didn't work.
The ones that nobody remembers now.
Yeah, 3DO actually was supposed to be a pretty good game console. It's just it came with an $800 price tag. And that was back in like the early 90s. So
yeah, no
one wanted to pay that much for video games. So anyways, though, back onto Nintendo.
But as Iwata taught us, video games are for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he says everyone, once again, there's really that sense of, he means everyone, not males in this demographic. Not, he's not targeting, he just wants people to genuinely get together and enjoy it. I know back in high school, my friends were like, it was almost like a 90s sitcom where we were all different races. Because it was me, there was my friend Rocky, who I need to get on the show at some point.
Yeah.
He was a black guy, and then we had our another friend Omar, whose family was Middle Eastern. Then we had our friend Shahab, who was from India, and then Craig. We were two white guys, and it was always the 4 or 5 of us almost every weekend in somebody's basement playing Smash Brothers.
That is what I miss about video games, and that's probably the main reason I would like a Wii U over an Xbox One or a PS4. It's because I like couch co-op. And I feel like that's dying. Couch co-op is dying because, it's much more convenient to just go online and play Halo or whatever.
To get into a matchmaking, get with some guys, or even, I'm not going to knock online play, because it's a really good way, because we play stuff online together all the time. Yeah. I've used it to keep in touch with some friends who I wouldn't see otherwise. I'm not saying online play is bad. No. What I am saying is nothing can ever really replace that feeling of a bunch of friends getting together on a couch and just playing things together.
Right. Like Mario Party or...
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. Ruin Your Friendship Edition.
Which one is that? Is that all of them?
That's all
I feel like that's all of them. Oh my god.
All of them except for the first one, because Super Mario Kart did not have the blue shell. Everything Mario Kart 64 and everything after that, it has a blue shell.
No, there's one exploit that a friend's little brother did when we were playing Mario Kart 64, and I'm still a little bitter about it to this day. Partially that he did it and that was awful, but partially because I didn't think of it. What he did was he would just stop on top of a mystery block. During battle modes, he just stopped there and just keep tapping Z, and eventually he, of course, would get a star. But the star cycle would go long enough that he could just get a bunch of, basically get a bunch of red shells and just torpedo anyone, and because the star cycle was long enough, he would usually get another one before that one was up. So he could just sit on the spot and tap the Z button over and over again, and he was completely invincible.
That's cheap. That's not right.
Yeah. We don't play with him anymore.
No.
I mean, granted, this was about 15 years ago, but my point is still valid.
I thought you were going to talk about how to outrun the blue shell, which there is a way.
There's multiple ways to confront the blue shell.
Yeah, the way I'm more used to is either if you're far enough ahead, just keep going, it won't make a difference. But if there's someone really close behind you, slow down.
Yeah, just slam on the brakes and let them take the hit.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's but there's apparently, if you get a mushroom and you time it just right, you can outrun a blue shell. Just keep going and not get hit.
I'll have to try that. I haven't played much Mario Kart recently. The last one I played was Mario Kart Wii, which I love. I'm the only one who plays it with the motion controls because I love the motion control. It's just me.
Not you.
It's you too?
Yes.
Okay.
I enjoy playing that because it's sort of like virtual reality, a little bit.
A little bit. Drunk motion control Mario Kart.
Yes. The only thing I prefer about the classic controller is that with the classic controller, I think I can hold on to weapons much more easily because the B button is on the back.
That is.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but
see, I've actually got the plastic wheels.
Yeah, me too.
That's the right way to play it.
I have one.
I have too.
Nice.
Because I went out and bought it so I could play with a friend, and this was back at a point where I was in high school, and I was working 2 jobs, and so I didn't have a ton of time to game. But my little brother, who does nothing, just stay at home, and he would play it all day while I was working about 12 hours a day. All he would do is play video games. And so I'd come home, and he did a point where he not only had basically beaten the game, but he could tell, based on what character I picked, what course would screw with me.
Was it Rainbow Road?
Well, Rainbow Road's is terrible for everyone.
Yes.
I was like, well, let's see here. I haven't played as Rosalina, and I'll put her on a motorcycle, because motorcycles are cool. And he's like, well, we're going to Ice World. Good luck with that.
Oh, jeez. I, see, that's, Iwata, when Iwata started doing, when he started off as president in the GameCube era, the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox era, what is that, the 7th
generation?
Yeah, I think
6th. I want to say 6th. Hold on, I have the internet.
That's because I believe Nintendo Entertainment System, that was 3rd generation. The Nintendo, the Sega Master System, and the other ones I forget. Yeah, that was like 3rd generation.
Let's see here. Hold on, let me just search.
First generation was the Magnavox Odyssey. 2nd generation was Atari 2600.
6th generation.
Yeah, okay, you were right. Yeah, so 6th generation. That is probably my favorite era of gaming because it's like the last couch co-op era. And, I mean, maybe we can start splurging on the... Splurging.
Don't talk about spooging in a tribute episode.
Maybe we can start talking about how awesome the GameCube is.
You know what? It's the last console where they seem to take software risks above anything else. Because their launch title was not... One of their launch titles was not a Mario game, but starred Luigi, and they turned him into a Ghostbuster. But don't worry, Mario is coming later. Now he's on a tropical island with a water jetpack. And you know what? While we're doing the water theme, let's take Zelda out, and you know that dark grim stuff we did back with Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time? Let's turn the whole thing into a cartoon.
That's right. Oh, God. And
people... Yeah, but you hardcore people, you want something? All right, let's bring... we have Metroid? Let's bring that back. But you know what?
First-person shooter?
Let's make it into a first-person shooter. Because why not?
I remember, actually, when Wind Waker was first announced, everyone was pissed.
Oh, yeah. Like, I at that point, I was still very early on in my Zelda fandom. I'd only played Majora's Mask, Ocarina, and I think Oracle of Ages. I don't think I'd played Seasons yet. So I only played 3 games, but I was hooked instantly on the franchise as soon as I played Majora's Mask. Like, that drew me in, and I've loved it ever since. And I saw they had excerpts of the Space World footage. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where it was, you know, the more realistic-looking Link in a sword fight against Ganondorf. And that was awesome. And then I was super excited, and then I saw, like, this is the new Zelda. He looks like he's a little cartoon dude with a giant head. And I had no idea how to react. Because I wasn't enough fanboy to rage at that point. I was more like, well, they know what they're doing. It can be cartoons now.
For me, it was like, this doesn't seem like the best idea. But then I saw people like raging about it, and I was like, it's not even out yet.
Right. Don't get angry at a game before it's released. Don't get angry at anything before it's released, just as a rule.
Metroid Federation Forces.
Yeah, take a second. What's the deal with that? I mean, I know it's not a... I want another core Metroid game as much as anybody else. Probably more so than a lot of people. But why would you put that much hate on a side game? Basically just looks like a new, like more slightly cartoonier version of Metroid Hunters.
Yeah, it looks sort of like a cartoony version of Halo.
A little bit. Well,
Yeah.
Metroid Hunters, I have very mixed feelings about that game because I loved the multiplayer, and I played it so much it destroyed the L button on my DS, because that's how you fire. Is you
Yeah.
hold it and then you hold the. I played so much online multiplayer with that, my L button stopped working, and it was only like the last year or two I actually broke down. I took the thing apart and was able to like fix the pad.
Oh.
So yeah, I had to. So yeah, that killed my DS. Single player
Jeez.
mode was terrible, but the multiplayer mode was almost enough to make up for it, except for the fact that hackers were everywhere.
Oh, jeez.
You did you not run into hackers? Or have you not
I
played it?
tried doing. I seriously tried doing the online play, but it for some reason it just wouldn't work with
Oh,
my.
hold on, get a phone call.
Um,
All right, there we go. We're back.
Yeah, sorry. I actually my Nintendo DS. I never was able to hook it up online, so I tried. It just always said like error or can't read or just like kept loading. Either way, just didn't work for me. So I was stuck with the single player mode, which I actually kind of liked.
It wasn't bad. I just felt like there wasn't enough variety in the power ups. Because usually when you play a Metroid game, you've got your standard missiles and screw attack, but then you get a bunch of other cool things to mess with the environment, and everyone's got a couple of unique things. And just getting different beams didn't really feel like enough of a game change up for me.
Right.
Because I know, like, in Prime, you've got different visors. You've got, like, the Echo Visor, or, like, the Heat Visor, and then, you got different beams that let you traverse different areas. And then the Screw Attack was really interesting in 3D. There's a lot of more interesting gameplay choices that there are. I see what they were trying to do, and they really were gearing the game more towards multiplayer than single player. But yeah, I feel like the single player suffered for it, but I think ultimately they made the right decision with it.
Yeah. So. Anyways, what? Right. What were we talking about? Oh, GameCube. Yeah, a lot of
GameCube. Love the GameCube.
Yeah, a lot of people just felt that the Wind Waker thing when it was first coming out, they didn't like it. They hated it. And then it came out, and now it's pretty much a fan favorite.
Right, well, it's probably aged better than almost any other Zelda game.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
Because the more you... Let me back up. In the 90s and early 2000s, we were just kind of playing with the realistic thing. We definitely ran into some Uncanny Valley stuff, where a lot of it doesn't hold up really well now. It was awesome at the time, but boot up, like, Half-Life now. And have a look at some of those graphics.
Ugh.
And you know what, like, the vast majority of Nintendo 64 games have not aged well.
Yeah, I heard that GoldenEye has not aged well.
I've got it, we can play it sometime.
Okay. Like, the remake of it?
No, the original.
Oh, no, I was, like, saying the remake of it did not sell well at all. But yeah, I remember having a lot of fun with the original, but the remake was, I tried it and I was like, this is pretty fun, and then I rented it and I played it like maybe 2 or 3 times and stopped playing it.
I played it with my brother, and he didn't know about that. You could just be odd job and no one can hit you because he's so small.
Yeah,
and just started throwing my hat at him.
Horrible. It's horrible. I always played as a scientist because I felt like because when you got shot enough times, you would just get like this big red lab coat.
Yes.
Yeah, it was horrifying and yet awesome.
It has its charms. It may not have aged well, but it has its charms.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the 64-bit stuff doesn't age well. A lot of the GameCube stuff has not exactly aged well, but the Zelda games, where they have that cartoony art style, because it was more simple, it was able to age much better.
Yeah.
There's that. I guess there's, like, Wind Waker did that, and then they carried on the art style over to Minish Cap, which is the most underappreciated game in the franchise.
That was before Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Before Skyward Sword, that was the first original Zelda in the timeline. It was like pre-Ocarina of Time.
Well, Ocarina of Time was was like the big first one, because that was them actually trying to put a timeline together, was Ocarina. And then Minish Cap came out, I want to say like 2005, 2006. And I actually didn't play it at the time, because I thought it looked cartoony. I thought I had hit that dumb point in your teenage years where it's like, well, that's too cartoony. I've got more important things to play. I got a PS2 now.
When I was going through that era, I was...
Stupid BatSam.
I tried getting... I was, like, really into Sonic. I really
you poor man.
I really wanted to get Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, you poor man.
In hindsight, I'm so glad I didn't.
I've got it. Do you want to play it?
You know what? Maybe. I mean, it's probably one of those Ride to Hell Retribution things where I just have to try it more of a
Well, because I played it, and first of all, my family got it for my brother for Christmas because, it's like those hedgehog games he likes so much, and then they were terrified because when the hedgehog dies, he goes, damn!
Yeah, that's right.
Did the hedgehog swear?
That was the edgy
That was
thing.
the edgy one, and he can run at 3 times the speed of sound, but he needs a motorcycle, because that's cooler.
And he also needs a gun that he can't aim.
Guns. This was a 9-year-old's idea of what's badass, and then that Shadow the Hedgehog.
It was Sega's idea of what Americans think is badass.
Was that marketed directly just towards 11-year-olds? I feel like that's their only target audience.
Probably. And there were a lot of 11-year-olds I saw online that did, like, horrible MS Paint fan art of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Yeah, so... but anyways, so GameCube also had Phantasy Star Online. That's one of my favorite all-time games. Episode 1 and 2, I haven't played 3, looked kind of weird, but it's like my favorite multiplayer game. I love playing with my friends, and it's probably the only MMORPG that does split screen.
Now that was one of the only games to use the modem port.
Yeah.
For the GameCube, because not everyone realized that there's like 5 ports underneath the thing, and one of them was for a modem for internet connection. This was back in like 2001, and it was a little bit too early, and there's only like 3 games that used it.
Yeah, there were 2 in North America.
Hold on just a sec. I've got my GameCube. I'll just pull it out.
Yeah, there were 2 in North America, and one other one in Japan. So like a total of 3 in Japan, but only 2 like in the I think in the PAL regions, Oceania, whatever. And then Pirates, actually, thank God, after the GameCube was discontinued, Pirates managed to make versions of Animal Crossing and Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart Double Dash that had online play.
Right, here's the modem port right here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I see it now.
Right, and then we had 2 other ports on the bottom. I know one was for the Super Game Boy.
Yes, and I wanted that so bad.
Oh, so did I. Like, I saw it at the store. It was like $30. It was just out of my price range for the time. But, oh, God, I wish I'd have bought it. Because I have so many GBA games. How cool would that be if we just start playing GBA games on the TV?
See, that's also probably the thing that just puts the GameCube over the edge for me. Because you got the Super Game Boy. So you could also play like 8-bit and 16-bit games. And maybe even a little bit of 32-bit. It was just so cool. Because you could span in Nintendo's entire history pretty much. Except for Nintendo 64. Unless there were like remakes like Resident Evil or Ocarina of Time Master Quest. Yeah.
Well, no, they remade Ocarina for Master Quest for the GameCube.
Yeah. I meant like there were a lot of Nintendo 64 games you wouldn't be able to play on the GameCube. Right. But other than that, like Super Nintendo is awesome, and they had a lot of games on the Game Boy Advance that were for originally Super Nintendo, and they also had some original ones, and it was so awesome, and that's what like sets GameCube over the edge for me.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do love my PS2, but we're not here to talk about Sony, so we'll talk about the PS2 another day.
Yeah, so, and that's also, so that whole era that Iwata first started at, that's my favorite era also because, it seems like that was right before the everything had to be all gritty and
Gritty and
brown.
Yeah, the gray brown Space Marine
Yes.
became the standard. I would say, yeah, GameCube probably. GameCube might very well be my favorite console too, because we got not one, we got 2 Zelda games on that thing. Because we got Wind Waker and we got Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Which are both solid. I replayed Twilight Princess recently and I loved it.
And that was the last time Link was ever left-handed.
Yes.
Or maybe. No, wait, he's left-handed.
He's going to be left-handed again.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really interesting because they ported it to the Wii. It was designed for the GameCube, and then they ported it to the Wii.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We're back.
Yeah, sorry. I actually, my Nintendo DS, I never was able to hook it up online. So I tried, it just always said, like, error, or can't read, or just, like, kept loading. Either way, just didn't work for me. So I was stuck with the single-player mode, which I actually kind of liked.
It wasn't bad, I just felt like there wasn't enough variety in the power-ups. Because usually when you play a Metroid game, you've got your standard missiles and screw attack, but then you get a bunch of other cool things to mess with the environment, and everyone's got a couple of unique things, and just getting different beams didn't really feel like enough of a game change-up for me.
Right.
Because I know, like, in Prime, you've got different visors, you've got, like, the Echo Visor, or, like, the Heat Visor, and then, you got different beams that let you traverse different areas, and then the screw attack was really interesting in 3D. There's a lot of more interesting gameplay choices that there are. I see what they were trying to do, and they really were gearing the game more towards multiplayer than single player. But yeah, I feel like the single player suffered for it, but I think ultimately they made the right decision with it.
Yeah. So, anyways, right, what were we talking about? Oh, GameCube. Yeah, a lot of
GameCube. Love the GameCube.
Yeah, a lot of people just felt that the Wind Waker thing when it was first coming out, they didn't like it. They hated it. And then it came out, and now it's pretty much a fan favorite.
Right. Well, it's probably aged better than almost any other Zelda game.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
Because the more you let me back up. In the 90s and early 2000s, we were just kind of playing with the realistic thing. We definitely ran into some uncanny valley stuff, where a lot of it doesn't hold up really well now. It was awesome at the time, but boot up like Half-Life now. And have a look at some of those graphics.
Ugh.
And you know what, like, the vast majority of Nintendo 64 games have not aged well.
Yeah, I heard that GoldenEye has not aged well.
I've got it. We can play it sometime.
Okay. Like, the remake of it?
No, the original.
No, I was, like, saying the remake of it did not sell well at all. But yeah, I remember having a lot of fun with the original, but the remake was, I tried it and I was like, this is pretty fun, and then I rented it and I played it like maybe 2 or 3 times and stopped playing it.
I played it with my brother, and he didn't know about that. You could just be odd job and no one can hit you because he's so small.
Yeah,
and just started throwing my hat at him.
Horrible. It's horrible. I always played as a scientist because I felt like because when you got shot enough times, you would just get like this big red lab coat.
Yes.
Yeah, it was horrifying and yet awesome.
It has its charms. It may not have aged well, but it has its charms.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the 64-bit stuff doesn't age well. A lot of the GameCube stuff has not exactly aged well, but the Zelda games where they have that cartoony art style, because it was more simple, it was able to age much better.
Yeah.
There's that. There's like Wind Waker did that, and then they carried on the art style over to Minish Cap, which is the most underappreciated game in the franchise.
That was before Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Before Skyward Sword, that was the first original Zelda in the timeline. It was like pre-Ocarina of Time.
Well, Ocarina of Time was like the big first one, because that was them actually trying to put a timeline together, was Ocarina. And then Minish Cap came out, I want to say like 2005, 2006. And I actually didn't play it at the time, because I thought it looked cartoony. I had hit that dumb point in your teenage years where it's like, well, that's too cartoony. I've got more important things to play. I got a PS2 now.
When I was going through that era, I was...
Stupid BatSam.
I tried getting. I was like really into Sonic. I really
Oh,
wanted.
you poor man.
I really wanted to get Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, you poor man.
In hindsight, I'm so glad I didn't.
I've got it. Do you want to play it?
You know what? Maybe. I mean, it's probably one of those Ride to Hell Retribution things where I just have to try it after more of a
well, because I
curiosity.
played it, and first of all, my family got it for my brother for Christmas because it's like those hedgehog games he likes so much, and then they were terrified because when the hedgehog dies, he goes, "Damn!"
Yeah, that's right.
Did the hedgehog swear?
That was the edgy.
That was
thing.
the edgy one, and he can run at 3 times the speed of sound, but he needs a motorcycle because that's cooler.
And he also needs a gun that he can't aim.
Guns. This was a 9-year-old's idea of what's badass, and then that's Shadow the Hedgehog.
It was Sega's idea of what Americans think is badass.
Was that marketed directly just towards 11-year-olds? I feel like that's their only target audience.
Probably, and there were a lot of 11-year-olds I saw online that did like horrible MS Paint fan art of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so GameCube also had Phantasy Star Online. That's one of my favorite all-time games. Episode 1 and 2. I haven't played 3. Looked kind of weird, but it's like my favorite multiplayer game. I love playing with my friends. And it's probably the only MMORPG that does split screen.
Now that was one of the only games to use the modem port.
Yeah.
For the GameCube, because not everyone realized that there's like 5 ports underneath the thing, and one of them was for a modem for internet connection. This was back in like 2001, and it was a little bit too early, and there's only like 3 games that used it.
Yeah, there were 2 in North America.
Hold on just a sec. I've got my GameCube. I was pulling it out.
Yeah. There were 2 in North America, and one other one in Japan. So like a total of 3 in Japan, but only 2 like in the I think in the PAL regions, Oceania, whatever. And then Pirates, actually, thank God, after the GameCube was discontinued, Pirates managed to make versions of Animal Crossing and Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart Double Dash that had online play.
Right, here's the modem port right here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I see it now.
Right, and then we've got 2 other ports in the bottom. I know one was for the Super Game Boy.
Yes, and I wanted that so bad.
Oh, so did I. Like, I saw it at the store. It was like $30. It was just out of my price range for the time. But, oh, God, I wish I'd have bought it. Because I have so many GBA games. How cool would that be if we just start playing GBA games on the TV?
See, that's also probably the thing that just puts the GameCube over the edge for me. Because you got the Super Game Boy. So you could also play, like, 8-bit and 16-bit games. And maybe even a little bit of 32-bit. It was just so cool. Because you could span in Nintendo's entire history, pretty much. Except for Nintendo 64, unless there were, like, remakes, like Resident Evil or Ocarina of Time
Master Quest?
Yeah.
Well, no, they remade Ocarina for Master Quest for the GameCube.
Yeah. I meant like, there were a lot of Nintendo 64 games you wouldn't be able to play on the GameCube.
Right.
But other than that, like, Super Nintendo is awesome. And they had a lot of games on the Game Boy Advance that were for, originally Super Nintendo. And they also had some original ones. And it was so awesome. And that's what, like, sets GameCube over the edge for me.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do love my PS2, but we're not here to talk about Sony, so we'll talk about the PS2 another day.
Yeah, so, and that's also, so that whole era that Iwata first started at, that's my favorite era also because, it seems like that was right before the, everything had to be all gritty and brown.
Yeah, the gray-brown Space Marine
Yes.
became the standard. I would say, yeah, GameCube probably... GameCube might very well be my favorite console, too, because we got not one, we got 2 Zelda games on that thing. Because we got Wind Waker, and we got Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Which are both solid. I replayed Twilight Princess recently, and I loved it.
And that was the last time Link was ever left-handed.
Yes.
Or maybe. No, wait, he's left-handed.
He's gonna be left-handed again.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really interesting because they ported it to the Wii. It was designed for the GameCube, and then they ported it to the Wii.
Yeah. All right. So.
All right, here we go.
Okay. That and you know what? Then the generation after that, the 7th generation, it seemed like that went more for like graphics and power. That was what Sony and Xbox 3 or PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 sort of fought over. They were trying to outpower each other, and the Wii went more for the whole waggle.
Yeah, it went all in on the motion controls, but did it ever pay off?
Yeah, it won the 7th generation as far as sales go.
As far as sales goes, I think it's hard to really declare a console generation winner. Because the only metric you can really measure is sales. I mean, I guess you could put together Metacritic scores, but I feel like trying to see who won in a purely subjective way just seems I
go for sales.
They go for sales. If we're talking, it just seems like petty to me to go by like who got the best Metacritic scores. But if you do go by sales, then it's got to be the Wii.
Yeah, I don't really pay much attention to like who had the best games because like every system has its own variety of stuff. It would be so hard to measure that. Yeah, the Wii had bunch of like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and all these other awesome games, but it also had a bunch of shovelware. The PS3 had, or the Xbox 360 had like all the Halo games, but it also had Sonic 06. So
that just drops the average Sonic 06.
Very much so. The Wii did not have Sonic 06.
There we go. You know what? Put that blurb on the box. It does not have Sonic 06.
Incompatible with Sonic 06.
Don't even try it.
Then it would sell just so many copies.
Yeah, because the GameCube was solid, and then the DS, like that, I think the DS is second only to the PS2 for best-selling video game console of all time. And it is the best-selling handheld console of all time.
Wow, I haven't checked the sales recently, but I know Game Boy was like a killer app sort of thing, and then
because it had
Pokemon. Tetris and Pokemon.
Then eventually I got Pokemon like 15 years later.
Yeah, and everyone bought Pokemon.
Everyone has. You know what? I still play. Well, I guess I can't really play most of my old Pokemon because the internal batteries have died. But I did stuff on my DS recently. Because I packed it for a card trip, so I didn't want to bring the 3DS because I'm worried things like it's expensive, it's fragile. But my old DS, I have the original like gray brick, and that thing. Because all my friends were like, they had all gotten the lights, they had upgraded. Like, haha, look at yours. Yours is big and clunky. And I closed it and I just whacked him with it, and then just opened it up and kept playing. Because I figured this thing's sturdy enough; it can take a bludgeon to the head.
Yeah, that's kind of what Rice Pirate said about the Wii U. He made this cartoon called We Dare You. Rice Pirate, for those who don't know, is a cartoonist and internet personality. He's on Sleepy Kevin. He's awesome. But he did this cartoon called We Dare You, where this kid was just like playing the Wii U on the little portable touchscreen thing, and these guys come up and start making fun of him, and he's like, come on, it may not be the most powerful, but the games on it are really fun, and to me that is the most important thing. It's having good games. It's and then they're like, it's a big piece of crap. And then laughed, and then he just like took this big ass portable screen and smacked all of them with it. And just like laid the beat down on it. And you know, I kind of want to do that now with this touch screen. But I just need to get a Wii U first.
Yeah, I need to get one too.
Yeah.
I gotta get because the thing is, like, I held out on the 3DS until we got Fire Emblem and Zelda, and then as soon as I had the money, I went out and got it. And now I know, like, right now, I'm just like, I'm an adult, I'm saving up for more professional things, I can worry about those. Wii U's not on my radar. But I realize, the second that the new Zelda drops, that sentiment's going to evaporate very, very quickly. I'm going to be just, like, checking like couch cushions for money and shaking down neighborhood kids.
Yeah, I mean, so Hyrule Warriors is one that I actually really want to try because
You can play as Tingle.
Yeah,
You can play as Tingle.
you can play as Tangle. You can play as oh jeez, what's her name? Midna.
Midna, who's the best companion ever.
Yeah, seriously, she wasn't like the whole, hey, listen, stop, wake up.
You know what? Everyone hates Navi but me. The only companion I really did not like was Fee from Skyward Sword.
I have not actually played Skyward Sword,
Okay.
but I heard Fee was annoying. I didn't like Tattle because she was horrible to you in the beginning, and I was like, why would I want you around? Go away. I want to put her in a jar and just step on her.
Minda was awful to you in the beginning too.
But she knew that so she didn't do awful things to you, except for, well, wait, what did she do? She knew that you were important, and she helped you break out. But Tattle put you in this horrible predicament, and then belittled you, and the only reason she was stuck behind is because she was cruel enough to stay behind to kick you when you're down. Literally kick you with her fairy body.
Like, how do Zelda fairy bodies work? I just heard they were like orbs with wings. Like, I'm not even sure if there's like a humanoid figure and it's just like a glowing, that's just a light coming off of them, or if they're just little orbs. Because I always just imagined they were just little orbs because that was easier to draw.
Well, you should ask Ivan. Yeah.
We should watch more Game Over Thinker. There's never too much Game Over Thinker. Is he? He's doing that sequel series, right? With Broseph and Throwback.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't watch the last episode?
The last episode of Game Over Thinker?
Yeah, because he said that Retro Thinker and Anti Thinker were getting their own spin-off.
I don't remember that. Jeez, maybe I should. Because I remember watching all the newer Game Over Thinker stuff, but feel like he should now do one about Iwata. Like,
oh, I'm sure he's got some sort of water tribute in the works. That's got to be the topic of either, because he has Game Over Thinker, and then he has In Bob We Trust, and they alternate weekly.
Yeah.
So whichever one of those is coming out next, absolutely going to be in the water tribute.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not be? Because he's a huge Nintendo fan. And I find that to be awesome about him, because I'm also a huge Nintendo fan. And
what good and just person in this world isn't a Nintendo fan?
Have you ever tried playing Call of Duty or Battlefield online or Halo online with 13-year-olds?
No, I have no desire to have that experience.
Me neither, but I listen to it a lot on like trolling videos and stuff. Minnesota Burns. There's this guy that pretends to have like a long lost son who he then finds on Xbox Live.
What?
Yeah, it's hilarious. And then like people start swearing and stuff. He's like, "Hey, don't talk that way in front of my son."
It's the best.
So, but yeah, like everyone is just horrible on those. And of course they all hate Nintendo and whatever system they aren't playing on. If they're on PS4 or PS3, they talk about how the Xbox sucks. If they're on the Xbox 360, they talk about how the PlayStation sucks. But it's fanboyism.
It is fanboyism, but you know what? Let's roll with that for a bit. One of the reasons I feel like Nintendo works really well is that it markets to children. Children of all ages. But I feel like I would not get a 5-year-old a PS4 or an Xbox One. Same. I feel like we've hit a point where they're more going for, like the 15 to 30, dude demographic. And they're not really, they're not a thing that you can get for kids anymore.
Yeah, I felt that way in the last console generation. Like, Nintendo, is selling really well. I feel, well, they sold really well with the Wii, because they were marketing toward an audience that that Microsoft and Sony weren't marketing toward very much. They were marketing toward families. And since they got flack for it early on. Yeah, motion controls. No one's gonna want motion controls. I remember this. The president of Sony of America talked about how ridiculous the Wii was, and then later he said, "Oh, but we now have the PlayStation Force or PlayStation
PlayStation Move."
That's right. That's what it was. And yeah, he kind of retracted all his statements about how ridiculous the Wii was.
Uh-huh.
Who would have predicted? Who would have thought?
Right. You know what? Sometimes things just stick.
Yeah.
And then, even with the kid thing, it's something that I feel like parents and kids should play together. And that even goes back to Wada's philosophy. Because, it's one thing... Video games get a bad rap, and that, it's this idea that, well, they're just hang out in their basement, they play video games all day. But it doesn't have to be like that. And I feel like, as a parent... I'm not a parent. Hypothetical parentage, I feel like the best things I can do is I can play with the kid.
Right.
Like if, we could boot up Mario and we could play Mario together. Or Kirby. Kirby's a great game for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Kirby's absolutely perfect for letting helping him with the Zelda dungeon.
Oh, jeez. That was like the adorable thing that Nestor said to his son in the final issue of Nintendo Power.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like parents and kids can do together. And it may look cartoony, but if the gameplay is balanced well enough, anybody's going to be able to enjoy it.
Like Iwata said.
Yeah.
Video games are for everyone.
And I feel like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with making games for kids. And I mean, I could take a more cynical marketing approach to it and say, like, well, get them hooked early. They're like the smoking industry.
Right. But no, video games don't need to be like just a very hostile business. They're enjoyable. They're things that people enjoy, and if you can get your kids into this activity early on, maybe they won't go toward on the right path early on. Maybe they won't be so cynical and be like, oh, I only play Call of Duty because it's awesome.
Well, let's not Call of Duty, but it's some of its fans are not the best representatives of this medium. I will say that. I don't want to try and create this dichotomy of Nintendo good, FPS bad. Because I've played Call of Duty local co-op, and it's about the best version of what it is. It's a pretty good it's fun. It's fun to get together with a group. I love Doom.
I love Doom too.
Doom is
well.
Yeah, I don't want to create a false dichotomy between the two.
Oh, I'm not saying first-person shooters are bad, because I love first-person shooters, especially the early ones. But that's
Painkiller.
Oh yeah, Painkiller. One of my favorite games of all time is Quake, and Unreal Tournament 2004. In a very hokey. My 13, 14-year-old self is just, squealing with delight when I play that. When I launch a nuclear gun at a big crowd of people, also with nuclear guns, because I turned all the nuclear guns on the Redeemers.
Of course! That's the right way to play it.
It's just so fun. And, but, yeah, no, first-person shooters aren't bad, but this, very toxic... angry, violent
the culture
game.
Around it, yes.
Yes.
First-person shooters are not bad. Not everyone who plays a first-person shooter is bad, but the most vocal members of those fandoms have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I will say that. Now, the Wii was one of the best, was probably the pinnacle of the company, sales-wise, or at least in my memory. Between the DS and the Wii, they destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Every kid had DS. Everyone, from families to dorm rooms to retirement homes to the White House to Buckingham Palace had a Wii. The Queen, I poo you not, has a gold-plated Wii.
That is awesome.
I want to go play Smash Brothers with the Queen.
I would love to do that as well.
I bet you she plays as Peach.
Ah, jeez. That wouldn't be fair because I want to play as Peach.
Okay. It's okay. I'm sure she's also pretty good with Captain Falcon.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But with the Wii and the DS, the company hit some pretty just stupid amounts of money.
And that's good because the Nintendo 64 and the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube actually did not sell very well compared to the PlayStation 1 and 2.
Right. Well, the PlayStation, they did some marketing stuff, and they went multimedia.
Yeah.
Which is a thing in and of itself. It's that idea of why buy, what DVDs are this new thing? I could go out and spend $100 on this DVD player, or I could spend $150 and get the thing that also plays all these video games.
Right.
But we can talk, the PS2, that's another thing I could talk about for a long time, but we'll come back to maybe at another point.
I got it late in the game. I inherited my older brother's when he got a PlayStation 3. Yeah. Or, actually, I think it might have been a PlayStation 4, so very recent.
Yeah, but even with the dip in sales, because Wii and DS printed money.
Yeah.
The Wii U, not so much. But part of the reason I respect Iwata so much is that he cut top down when the company was going through some lean times. He cut his salary in half.
Whoa.
Yeah, he cut his own salary in half, and he started cutting money from the board, too, and they all voluntarily took...
Yeah, sorry. So, there was a little hangnail, and I'm
I'll pause it for you. Yeah, with the dip in sales, like that, to me, that's the quality of a good leader, is saying that they're not going to start cutting bottom up.
Right. Like laying off people.
They're not going to do, they're trying not to do layoffs, not do any of that, but saying, you know what, I was in charge, this is as much my responsibility as anyone else's, if not more. If anyone's going to take a pay cut, it's me. And that makes me respect the man as much as anything else. Like that's a good person.
I did not know he did that, but I mean, it just makes me love Nintendo even more. Nintendo's like the Disney of video games for me.
Little bit. They're not quite as evil.
Oh.
They've done some shady things.
Yeah,
but those are all discussions for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, he cut top down, and then he definitely got hands on with stuff like the Nintendo Direct, because he could have just holed up in an office and just, delegated all that stuff to Miyamoto.
Yeah.
He could have just holed up, but he didn't. He got hands on. He did Nintendo Direct. He came on with a Luigi hat. He came on to promote the year of Luigi, and then he was Nintendo directly to you. And then came out with the bananas. I think that was to promote Donkey Kong. I mean, he showed up with a bunch of bananas.
What? Let's see. Oh, Donkey Kong Country Returns, probably? Yeah. That's also awesome.
There was that, and then, of course, there's the puppet bit.
That was...
this year.
It was nice that was one of the last things he was able to do.
He's a Muppet. Like that was actually Jim Henson Muppets.
Oh, awesome. I wasn't sure if the Muppet Theater or whatever was still around. Or Muppet Workshop.
Nope, they went to Muppet Workshop. There's actually a video I haven't watched yet.
Oh wait, Sci-Fi had a reality show about the Muppet Workshop. It got canceled recently, but it was...
Oh yes, it's because it's the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, but it was actually pretty cool. They did, I saw them design Skeksis.
Oh god, Skeksis.
Yes! And they had to design... This was the other cool thing. Sorry, just a tiny little tangent, but their challenge was they had to design Skeksis, and then they had to pull these things out of a hat, and it was where they were from. Some people got a Skeksis from a desert, and so they had to design this Skeksis that wore a not turban,
like a cloak and
yes.
yeah,
like bandages to keep the heat off. And then someone got a swamp, and they had to design all these dead rats and bugs all over him. And then it was just so cool. But anyways, back to
Iwata.
Yes, and I'm so glad that he was able to get that little Muppet thing. And that's actually a callback to the original Star Fox.
Right, because Star Fox, they got the idea for the way the characters would move. Or at least the whole
the
character animations. Muppy, those are from the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what inspired Miyamoto, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a video how also another thing they were inspired by was arches in Japan, like the arches above the shrines. The idea of just flying through those.
That's right. Yeah.
And I never would have picked up on arches as an inspiration for a video game, especially not one like Star Fox, but there it was.
Yeah, when I heard about that, I was like, that explains the first level in Star Fox 64, how you get to the secret area. You have to fly through all these different arches. It's really easy, but if you don't know about it, you'll probably just avoid it. But, yeah, that was really cool. And, so glad he got to be, who was he? Peppy. They did not get Slippy in there.
No, well, nobody likes Slippy.
No, nobody likes
I love Star Fox. Nobody likes Slippy.
No.
Another class act from Iwata, though, was I think it was like a year or two ago, when the Wii U's, the virtual console lineup wasn't quite where they wanted it to be. And then he went up and he said, just, please understand. And there's a lot of humility in that.
Yeah. And he bowed, which I don't know much about Japanese culture, but that's supposed to be a sign of respect, so.
Right. And it's very, you know what? If he wasn't one of the most genuine people in the industry, he was a fantastic actor.
I don't believe it was acting.
No, I don't either. I do have my cynical streaks, but he just seems like he was just a very happy man.
And was the Year of Luigi his idea?
I'm not sure whose idea it was. The thing is, like with Nintendo, or with anything in general, when you have a big enough organization, you usually associate everything as group does with whoever's at the top at the time, who's ever the most visible. Like basically, no matter what happens in the country, someone's in the U.S. right now, someone's going to attribute to Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Iwata's dead. Thanks, Obama.
Oh, you went there. It's just get dark.
Oh, jeez. Was that too soon?
I don't know. He'd want us to have fun.
Yeah. So, but
let's really hope someone doesn't sample that bit. But yeah, there's this tendency to attribute something that they do to whoever happens to be the figurehead at that point. So I'm sure a lot of what went on at Nintendo couldn't be attributed directly to Iwata, but he was still pretty hands-on. Because when he started with the company, he was with HAL Laboratories. He was one of the main designers of Smash Brothers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
and
not quite as much as Sakurai, but he was, he worked on Smash Brothers, he worked on Kirby, he worked on Pokemon Gold and Silver, he worked on Pokemon Stadium.
Did he work on Taxman? Because I found this out from the Angry Video Game Nerd. He has like this crappy little Atari 2600 game called Taxman. It's a clone of Pac-Man. But I looked it up, and it was made by HAL Laboratories.
No way.
The HAL Laboratories.
The HAL Laboratories?
It was one of the first games they did.
That's fantastic.
Probably, like, a little black mark on their history.
You know what? Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of these podcasts will be black marks on our eventual history.
So, I'm surprised they had Pac-Man in Super Smash Brothers rather than Taxman.
You know what? I'm sure they were fighting for it.
They were like, you know what? We should really bring Taxman back. Yeah, but Namco gave us the rights to Pac-Man.
Given all the alternate costumes, though, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody at HAL would try to sneak that in.
That's possible. I love all the alternates on all the newer Smash Brothers characters, especially.
Roy's back.
Roy's back.
Roy's DLC.
Awesome.
Did you not know? How did you not know about that?
I think I did.
Did you hear about who was announced with Roy?
Yes, Ryu.
Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yes,
He's in Smash Brothers.
Okay, I remember this now.
Oh, Smash Brothers. Anyone associated with Smash Brothers, holy hell,
the thing I was excited about was Koopa Jr., not because of Koopa Jr. himself, but all of his alternates.
Right, because it could be all the Koopa kids.
Yes, and I've been wanting to do that for such a long time. I was like, they better come out with the Koopalings in this next one, Super Smash Brothers Melee. I've been waiting for that. That and Geno.
From Mario RPG?
Yes.
Yeah, good luck getting him back from Square Enix.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Nintendo's aware of how much.
He's just going to come back with a bunch of redundant zippers and belts, right?
Oh gosh. So. Swear. I mean, Tetsuya Nomura is a really talented guy. Just don't make him design everything. And also tell him to lay off all the zippers and belts and Maybe make the hair a little less.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't, nah.
Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite Smash Brothers moments is that I found they had just announced Sonic. Like I woke up, I checked my email before I went to high school, and I saw they announced Sonic. And I was psyched, and then I went to school. That's not the memory. The memories was I was in class, and a friend of mine walked past the door, and he just saw me, and we made eye contact, and he just ran there, Sonics and Brawl, and then I jumped back out, and we ran at each other, and we did a leaping mid-air hug, screaming Sonics and Brawl. My teacher had no idea what was going on. What the hell are you doing? You sit down, you get back to class. What the hell?
Now, when I heard about Sonic being in Brawl, I was like, yeah, right. He was supposedly in Melee. Because there was a rumor, this was one of the most popular rumors, that you could play as Tails and Sonic.
Oh, right, one of those like early 2000s rumors where you could put whatever you want on the internet and people would believe it.
And there was a screenshot of it, and I was like, it's real! And then it was debunked. It was like, yeah, this was an April Fool's joke from Game Informer.
Poor Kyber.
Yeah, and I was like, well, this sucks. Yeah, I was so let down. But hey, we actually did get Sonic in Brawl, and I love playing as him because he pisses everyone off. All my friends. Every time I smash them, I immediately do the taunt. You know the taunt. You're too slow!
Well, and you know what? Now that he
sends him into a rage mode.
Now that he's in Smash 4, Sonic has now been in half the Smash Brothers games.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah. It was the release schedule with Smash was weird because we got Smash Bros. I want to say 99, 98 or 99.
Yeah.
And then we got the sequel 2 years later, which was a complete improvement in every way. Still a tournament fighter.
Yeah.
Still a tournament fighter. And then we didn't get Brawl until 7 years after that.
Really? Oh my god, you're right.
And then it was another 7 years before we got Smash, or 6 years. 6 years until we got Smash 4.
Wow, I feel so old now.
We are old. I remember, for Christmas when I was in 6th grade, we got the GameCube, and we got Smash Brothers, Pikmin, and Star Wars Rogue Leader.
I loved Star Wars Rogue Leader, but as much as I love it, I think that the next one, Rogue Leader 3, Rogue Leader 2, whatever, the one where you could play as multiplayer, that one was better because you could play some of the old missions in multiplayer, and I wish I got it. No, I ducked out and got the newer one, the older one. But anyways, yeah.
So I think that pretty much covers. I mean, we could keep rambling on about Nintendo, probably literally all night.
Yeah.
You put enough old duels in you, you'll put enough old duels in you. We can go all night.
Yes, I will. I would be so drunk from all those old duels.
You and your old duels, but I still don't get it.
I like the taste of beer, even if there's no alcohol involved.
I don't get that.
And I'm a social drinker as well.
Anyway, we've said probably about as much as we could say.
Yeah. And Iwata, you will be missed.
No snark, no jokes, just complete sincerity. You know, you did a lot of good. You made a lot of us very happy. And you know what? Sometimes that's enough.
Yeah.
It's those little things like that. So, just thank you, Mr. Iwata.